언제 주는 봐야 된다. 신기하다. Sumjang Tangje Dewa Da Dewe Jyodan Denpa Jeje Sumjang Tangje Dunye Da Dunye Ge Jyodan Dewa Sumjang Tangje Dunye Mebe Dewa Dangpa Dangmin Dewa Jeje Nirien Chada Yinda Tewe Danyang Chenpo La Nepa Jeje Sumjang Tangje Dewa Da Dewe Jyodan Denpa Jeje Dunye Da Dunye Ge Jyodan Dewa Jeje Dunye Mebe Dewa Dangpa Dangmin Dewa Jeje Nirien Chada Yinda Tewe Danyang Chenpo La Nepa Jeje Sumjang Tangje Dewa Da Dewe Denpa Jeje Dunye Da Dunye Ge Jyodan Dewa Jeje Dunye Mebe Dewa Dangpa Dangmin Dewa Jeje Nirien Chada Yinda Tewe Danyang Chenpo La Nepa Jeje 다 하상한서 미치라 사망을 뒤치 안에 소소소기 가르치고에 미로 나라 어떤 시 소리 아니 간티가나 지데 히로 상마다 저살라 당한도 다리 조는 저기 취래디라 먼저 취셔가 내라 저 선주 뒤에 치들어 취래리 아니디 가르친 취래리 가르친 취라고 하려나 먼저 로디 판 좋았다느라 지로 로디와 같이 나오는 먼저 지 유모도 숨도 상론도 변한데 차시당 저기 지스타는 먼저 내가 두자 먼저 치고라 제장 취래리 가는 취래리 가는 로도 어디 받지네 아니 로야 하셔서 로야 또 취네 같이 올라는 아니 먼저 지 대화해 봐 그래서 개와 두야지다 아니 대회 기타 주치 아주 투에 이제 차고라
So in the session last night, we were able to introduce ourselves, and we were also able to share with each other the expectations regarding the course. And then I also had the chance to address each of the expectations and doubts that you had. And now today, before beginning, I want to look at the word Dharma itself. So what do we mean by the word Dharma? To engage in the Dharma or engage in Dharma practice. Now herein when we talk about the word Dharma, then it means a transformation of the mind. And what do we mean by a transformation of the mind? So herein when we talk about transformation, we realize that under the influence of the negative emotions such as anger, aversion, and so on, then we inevitably engage in negative deeds. And this serves as a cause of suffering for ourselves and others. So we need to correct and transform these into positive actions and transform these negative emotions and negative qualities of the mind into positive qualities of mind, wherein these positive qualities of the mind will serve as the source of happiness for us. So this is the meaning of the word dharma, or what do we mean by engaging in dharma practice.
이제 아니 간주 추레들라 단다 레제기 통라 산스크리트는 칼라나 다르말레드라 세상 다르말레디 칼라올라나 니마 공사초게 데히지나샤라 나라디코스 칼라나 레제기 통나 다르말레디란 데히치 카르제올라나 데시단 담르요라 세상 디두가라 아니 난 zembal라디가라 치당한족이 추에디 지금 khoada nyesonleya regi nelewa regi dungelema sama chuni enzembaya ta lembaya nerjlo koda o bonzembala tidigal nada kunuge ne order sunje kesa nyawada de dunge na ma nyesola ma sama chuni enzemi chila an chula ko resra de lejek ton dekhi jana.
So then when we look at the Sanskrit word dharma itself, then His Holiness the Dalai Lama once kind of interpreted this word in this manner, that in the actual Sanskrit word itself, dharma, then it has this connotation or meaning of holding oneself from falling into the pits of suffering. This is one of the connotations of the word dharma. Yes.
시당이 추레들라양 아주 남배 추치고 많이 반 남리가 나도 추르만 보여라. 다른 나라 시바전에 가지 추 이슈 추 아니 가르서. 남바다다 망부지로 와 바실에다 망부지서. 제가 추레데 좀 저도 추르드네 망보여라 이내야 추르디 간저기 야슈르라네 러트에마라. 소소소소라 지게 로담에 바다 지 감다 테마테 줘라. 먼저 미지 딘 잠리가 미디 야시를 라통마라 가시 야고통 가시 두자동 담으려라 제가 먼저 최디에 최루디 야시를 라통마라 나바야 야시를 라통마 같이 야시를 라통마 소소소라 가리 로도 메발라 참아지라 딘디질라 먼저 레스트라.
So then when we talk about dharma, then we need to keep in mind that in this world there are many different religions, such as Islam, Christianity, Zoroastrianism, and so on and so forth. So when we talk about these religions, then it is kind of futile to say like one religion is the best religion among all the religion, because all of them kind of serve the same purpose in the end. So it is futile and not easy to say like one religion is the best among all, because as human beings we have different modes of thinking, different ways of looking at things, and we have different predispositions towards nature. So with this in mind, then there's no it is kind of futile to say one religion is the best religion among all. Keeping in mind our own mode of thinking, our own way of looking at things, and our own predispositions, then each religion might be suitable for particular people. Yes.
Tadi chulu chamaira chulu kandejewaina sama chulu nanu lapjadila kharshola mi apozo goyarwa mache chithanjila mi apozo goya anek kikuma makoya juma masheya mi thambozo goya mache chulu mache lapjad dinish jaworwa tadi chulu chama 마치 따따루를 테스트 해봐요마도 마치 출루디기 칼라나 미아보죠 그러시던 거라. 근데 인상 인변에 이슈 출루이네 프랑스 디젤 제선도 mam부절 펜토고래 아니 같이 있네 다가라 남바이네 다가라 소소기 따디라네 야고 수신도 따 로이나 그 펜토지 갈라간저 여더라. 뭐 변나간저기 어디모딜란데.
So herein, when we look at all the religions, then they all have this common aim, and that aim is to make a better human being. And this is common to all the religions, irrespective of the small and minor differences that arise in the assertions and tenets that they have. But the core advice of all religions still remains this, to make a better human being, to make a good human being. So if this is the same in all, then all religions, for the followers of Christianity, then the Christian doctrine has the ability to make a better human being for the make the follower of Christian Christian doctrine a better human being. Likewise, then someone who follows the Buddhist doctrine, because he or she follows this particular doctrine, can become a better human being. That's
Dana sengi pena pedro sha na khala la de su lu cho ra lu cho da na khala chik di ya shu la la thu mara kya sam khala di sa di ya shu shi ba sa ma la thu ya ma ra su la pe ma ga ha ko ra kashi len de do sana pe shin bu da su pe cho ko ra kashi ya na nu de la do ra che da khala de da sho wo ina de ta kari na khala da ma su bu la thu ma da de na sen ga chu lu de su sa nong da la 상문땅땅 샘바들 퇴마 되더라. 같이 어디 퇴디 배출을 빼고 동 하디 시골라 내가 수준 되발레만 되네 이거라. 제가 dinero 오샤고 레스토랑.
So then, as we look at all these different religious traditions that exist in this world, then it's up to the individual to pick one which suits him, suits his predisposition or his own mode of thinking the best. So I would like to use this analogy. When we talk about the food that we eat, then we cannot really say that one single food is the best food for everyone. We have to keep in mind the dietary specifications of each individual. Some people like rice as a stable diet. Some people do not like rice as a stable diet. So it depends on the particular needs of the individual lesson.
The Nancy the Nanzogi Nathan Duela, Pele Jura. Hensing the Tiban missing a chicken, Karanawa in a peg the Jura, Juchachri. Inia, Pay Dichibuya Shirla Latumara, Paginatal and a Kambana and Kambala Megore, and Gona, Susan Nasadam, Delmegormato, Michik Deoriamara. The Nancy, non the Chudi and Damado Guerra, Kajin Dojas or Kajin Contoso, Kajin Ajas of Karin, Kari the Nimbuten to Kari Lepta Potato, the Lataram Henshire.
So then, even when we think about the analogy of medicine, then medicine as a generally is a beneficial commodity. But then you cannot say that a single medicine is the supreme medicine of all medicine, because for a particular man, for a particular individual with a foot ailment, you cannot give a medicine that works for a headache. So likewise, you need particular antidotes for particular individuals or particular ailments. Yes.
세상에 추울래 진짜지 아니 추울래 되는데 밀레 펜바치 이나라 다 추울 코로나 노트요 말아 다이나랑 잠자 추치니 추 젠다와 니에추 코추 나 남바에 코이시 같이 있는데 내가 추 집어보고 제단에 공고마스 남자 테스트 예마도 인고에서 대사는 하오메라 제단 공사초인에 가디네 추루 튼디라는 마무송도 세상 안쪽이 추울래 나랑 사마나 팽이 디지리 바로 럽제티니지리 디기 된다는 아주 지기 전혀 최고예요 말 참이 통부체 참부체 줄루바 최쟁이 나거라 아니 지변시로체 파일라 레샬레 베케 좀라 근데 남바지나 줄루 심바나라 가르송도 디슬레리 소를 고야 디슬레 네 고마워하는샤라 남바 마인게제나 남베촌의 가르송 수술 고야 있는래 마와인샤 와 근데 저 와이나 아니 나는 상말 지게 줄루 잠니가로 줄루 엔데 망보죠 디나로래 소소 고야다 펜토야다 정말 루제나 아니 아주 디 냠네데 오니 제 칼로 야부로 채고라
So then so as we notice that all the numerous different religious traditions all have this similar potential to be of benefit to sentient beings, then when we look at the religious strife that we notice in history, then it doesn't particularly spring from the religious doctrine itself. It springs from this strife. It kind of arises from the followers of that particular doctrine. So as His Holiness the Dalai Lama repeatedly stresses that religious harmony is very important. So herein, when we talk about religious harmony, then we need to kind of accept that all religions, first we need to accept that all religions have this common potential to be of benefit to others. If we are able to accept that, then it is a good starting place to achieve religious harmony. So So, as we achieve religious harmony, then it is important for, as a Buddhist, to kind of look at other traditions, other doctrines, and if there are anything that you can pick from these other traditions that could be of benefit to you, then by all means we need to kind of be open to picking up these doctrines. And if it does not particularly appeal to you, then do not really focus on the difference and just leave it be. And this applies to all different religious traditions and doctrines. Yes.
당쪽에 지단이 출래 수준 미야 보조야시대 미야 보차야기 되지로 출래 출래 근데 인디언도 파츠 리치에 고베 그냥 대대로 신경나 수준 담는 거 로라 다디상도 미미다 미케시에라 페나 만남바이나 남베슈나 되네 라고라야 지기 슈데 같이데 가르이는 아래 콘도나도 출루나 템나 되네 요르란라 탭디 지마싱 로야 마라나야 파츠 고도 베리치네 빼아다 라 안디기 레차드네 아니 너 수술 펜토도나
So in this day and age, since like reading material is kind of easily available, then as people who want religious harmony, it is important to kind of keep our mind open to reading scripts or texts from other traditions as well. And if you are not able to engage in this practice of reading other traditions, texts and scripts, then at least as you meet like people from different backgrounds, different religious traditions, then to have comprehensive exchanges of your background, of your religious tradition. Yes.
다 대선 잠닝나로다 체리데 야지로니 미투 데오 케제티 데오라 니마이나 치케 다 제컵 샴바지는 로고나 아니 티진데 데는 로로로 다다 도라 이게 치다야라 거라 다오 마보 단다 세긴치 까무칭나로 도셔고라 제가 미미데 미 데와체 베 타니 우차데오레 소소로 똑바지네 케제티 춘도 치루나 카르라고나 가서 데네 라월은 식파즈 저런저런 페트도 셔오라 제가 가서 잠니가네 미리 찍가나 가레이네 코실로 빠바짱레면 나로라 가서 참마를 고야디 참마 대화되고라 좀 미친데 기부지고야지 된대고 나 기부디 간도 간데스템도 시절라라기도 봐 갑자기 야같이 가도 어디 냐면치는 더이나 야시로
So then in this day and age, exchange of information and communication has become very convenient. It is not like in the old times where we had to cross oceans in a boat or a ship to kind of practically exchange cultural traditions or information. And now, as it is very easy and convenient for us to exchange information and to have genuine communication with people from different backgrounds, then irrespective of our race, inside we are all the same in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. So this is the common ground we have as human beings, irrespective of our traditions or our race. So it is as technology affords us this very convenient opportunity to exchange information and to have genuine exchanges with people from different cultural and traditional backgrounds, then we must by all means try to engage in this meaningful exchange of information with people from different backgrounds.
슈레디게 아니 둥헤디데 파 타와치와치더라 니는 간도 참마 대화도 오래 대화 딱 간도 마체 지금 고투 고몬데오라 대화 되자 단다 싸워나요 대화를 이제 팀을 둥헤니는 거 봐주고 대화 되고 오래 대화에 주카리 하마고 둥헤 되고 오래 둥헤 마요야게 탑시 하나도 하마고 라 티치는 간도 강이 망보지 쳐도라 근데 인사 간도 대화 되고도는 대외에 주카리 둥헤 되고 민두나 안에 둥헤 오야게 주카리 때 간데스카 라 그러나 들리송우드가 차단 산지 좀 되이나 담보 추송우드가 덴시기 나자도 손다 덴바시 제가 덴바시기 나자도네 가르라 올라 담보 둥이 덴바라야 봐 둥이 덴바 건주 덴바 고비 덴바 나기 근데 덴바데 둥이래 다 담보 둥이시는 되더라 제가 둥이라야 되긴 간서 둥이 되고 만 간서 둥이도 용 되고 둥이도 용 되기는 다 간서 둥이도 간데스 까고 그라 둥이도 용사 간데르샤 둥스 주디 하고는 그 데부디 칼칼 까토고라 알레 주스니 건주르샤 둥이 맞추사 이시디 건주르시라 건주인서 디 건주디라 아니 파빵와이나 둥이 누에 바시도 Ra, ta konju pangwa chewala khaishigla ani gopa le ra. Konju di o dungi sama di konju ne ngudi. Konju di pa ka go du le di ngzo gopa lo cho. Gopa ta ka wala ra. Ta ale ani dungi do go go na khandes me ba chuku le ne ani lamde te wa. Ti pe ni jo ra ngama nga chunju gal de lo de ngeshara ha me. Te je jel ta di ngone ge phane pe ti tam pe ni jo da.
Yes. So then since if we are able to accept that we have the common ground as human beings in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering, then why do we keep suffering? Then herein lies the paradox that even though we do not want suffering, but we do not really know the method to rid ourselves of suffering. And even though we want happiness, we do not know how to cultivate the source of happiness. And this is the real problem that lies in our existence. So, in the Buddhist tradition, the Buddha himself, when he gave his first teaching, he gave the teaching of the doctrine of Four Noble Truths, wherein he talked about these Four Noble Truths. And the first Noble Truth was the truth of suffering. And when we talk about the truth of suffering, then even though we do not want suffering, we do not really know the method, or we do not have the means to how to abandon or rid ourselves of this suffering. And now, as we kind of investigate, then we look for a source. Where does all of our suffering spring from? And then we look at the source of our suffering, and the source of the suffering is the second noble truth, the origin of suffering. And then as we are able to establish and recognize the source of our suffering, and we are able to recognize suffering for suffering, then we work towards stopping this source of abandoning or getting rid of this source of suffering, which is cessation, the noble truth of cessation. This is the third noble truth. And then in order to achieve this true cessation of suffering, then we need a method, we need a path which leads towards this true cessation of suffering. And this is the fourth noble truth, the noble truth of the path. And as a young person, I didn't really understand the kind of beauty and the beauty in the way that these four noble truths are structured serially. But now, as after years of practice, I realize that there is a particular reasoning and beauty in the way the four noble truths are structured serially. That's
그렇지. 아니 간도 딱 대화 되기에나 아니 다 대화디 간데스 두글라 디글라 아니 간도 디요. 다 미슈부 간데로 치면 잠이가 추부 랑 무베 토와메 봐 쉬어와 있네. 가리는 고야 쉬어와 있네. 먼저 대화디 아니 톰나가 녀야 말아. 톰나가 좀 잘 가리는 망보지 녀야라. 톰 종아 전부 된다나 근데 싸이는 데버도 니마 간자더나 저 마사야 근데도. 안 dinne 종아 지 말이 말 잠이가 가지여라. 이내 간저 대화디 아니 문절랑 킨. 도와대베 간 킨 녀하더나 라야 말아. 제정 아니야 직차바나세 대화도 좀 남라마 왜요 말에 톰라 녀예요 말에 아니 직사도 주니 사올라 돼 말아 따디 대화라에 대한 거 가르치는 셈 좋았다라 셈 마rum바도 바빵 아니 셈이 약비실로 샤와는 딩하는 거 대화리다 라
So then as we work towards achieving happiness, then when we look at happiness, even if you are a wealthy person, and happiness is not something you find in the marketplace, even though in this day and age there are marketplaces and malls or shopping centers wherein you could spend the whole day shopping for things, and it's endless. But happiness is not in that marketplace, even if you are blessed with wealth. And then happiness is not something that you can find by digging the ground, and happiness is not a shower of rain too. So then where does this happiness lie? And then the happiness lies in our own mind. And when we say happiness lies in our own mind, then we need to have a transformative experience in our mind, wherein we have to transform the negative qualities of the mind into something positive, and therein, in that transformation, lies happiness.
아니 균속이지 고도스라 근데 뭐 저기 지글라디가라 알레딘데 레샤레면도 사면지
So are you able to kind of comprehend the teaching so far and kind of relate to the teaching? Yes.
Depends on the right. Okay, that is it. Tigal Tango Karashela, Danzo China in something on the Shulu Mambo during the Taipe Mamushasaira, Suzukalana, Susulatumaris, and the Yashir and Latuma Restra. Taine Kosu Papa Tango Nambishurusra. Nambichugala do res, Kasnantanga Narado in a chicken Nambicugala, Lomaburu Jangura. In Ye Shimbachu Shimbachikaya Mashe, Vajing the Shetumara. Ichina continuing a chili sama and Lapjaya Nagi Habura. In a bit of detail chili dinner dealing in the Humare, the Nambe Chugalata, Suzukala Kanza Jamata, she was singular, that two orium, right, petting Sabura. The day in Santa Hazu and the Nambe Chugalamale in Nazo, in Araki Samba, Chitangan National Zubada, Sedunda, Samba, Bamushi or Rapashi to the Lazira. Tinalola Nazo Niregi. Chidana Dewa de Nishaboda, some of Dewa de Ore, Niri Dewachira. Timeba in the meeting of the lonely check the Chipur Sonido, Seminaza, Tuzuma, which Kalana, Yima in Chikia, Dewa Shul, Sanotamato, they can be chickling. That chick judges and show in the Dewa de Carrelana and Tabata Tanji Chambala, the one going to pay the Muchishidra, right, in Navasaja Kelenina, and Sanjay Comatago that Tanaso. Tabat the son of the Sanjay Comatasana and the tent Dewa. The Dewa the one to Samar Gogo, the Mayunga, Alidando, Dewa Chinji, Niri, Dewa Chirua, who do Zula Sanatangoda. Dewa Chumbush would do Niri Sanatan, Rashan into the machine, Nakan in the Digmara. Chisanazo, Dewa Ninja Gogo, the Ineatambo, Ale Chinjugala and Gosundra. On the Dindra, the Chinju de Yakoji Chasana, Kale Dewa Dindra, Langalaco, Jishadora.
Yes. So then, as we talked about how all religious traditions are common in their core advice to make a better person or make a good person, but for immediate purposes, since my background is that of a Buddhist practitioner, then even though I have this acceptance and this knowledge that all religions really do have the same core advice, but I cannot really speak in detail about what are the assertions and views of other traditions. So for immediate purposes, as my background is that of a Buddhist practitioner, then I will approach the teaching from a Buddhist perspective. And herein, when we talk about the Buddhist tradition, then even though as a practice we in the Buddhist tradition we talk about the 6 great perfections such as forbearance, joyful effort, and so forth and so forth, so on and so forth. But herein, before we talk about these practices, it is kind of important to establish what do we mean by happiness and differentiate between the 2 types of happiness in this tradition. There exists a happiness that we want to achieve on a daily basis, that in our daily experiential life we want some sort of happiness. If we do not have that kind of happiness, then we become lonely people and we become kind of depressed. Then the other type of happiness in this Buddhist tradition is, of course, the ultimate happiness that we achieve when we attain nirvana. This is the lasting blissful happiness. But it is important to address and differentiate between these 2 types of happiness first. And even though as a beginner practitioner it is kind of impossible to work towards achieving, to kind of grasp at the ultimate happiness immediately, it is good to kind of look at the daily experience of happiness that we strive for first. And Buddhism as a religion and tradition is very profound and deep. So even though I have many years of practice, I couldn't conclusively say that I would be able to cover the depth and the profoundness of the tradition in this limited time that we have. Thus.
세상 아니가 좋다나 당아이 삼발라치 대화라 얘들아 니리니리 대화 용당디 가르레 두스나 초셰발에 뺏기 전부다. 라 초셰 되어와이나 아니 직 대화로 쳐이다. 초 마시나 데 미인도발에 가야 말와. 수수 nga라 디고는 베드 코라 디 ngam다 chanjang ani dewa symbol shiwa mane chaidra ani chikne chik ta susu kharine chin de ba sim ding ro ra diche ani ki nima susu kawa dige ne koyu mide thumbu che tepeke chimburda ra ani tanda dina chinangi chu labjana ma legor de tanda ngana dom dodo si jawaina ani se samata jira ira ani chik mil thundi chawaina chik goshilo doina nalo doina nalo dewaina symbol hilu do jora chonchi maga sa da thupa do ja chik symbol chi zeshe na gel khawa de ne symbol chi bu mi ra midi o ngal de la so de de ten de symbol chi de mi do kana miji shoge ni miji la thupa ja na ani nima hanza chi bu mi do ra chama ha hu chambo che chik 가리는 강에 파시 수시 지게 가리는 매버서에 로컬 강에도 봐 매버서에 있는 지키러로 빠진 기부다 가도와이 라 아니 미디 강에 지테면 아 콜라라사 영에 도모랭이 지지레 수수기 지게 아주 레와지 쳤어지로 라 내고에 패키지 딩아주 얘기 단다 막 부서 고디도 지금 미기 시소 나로야 지부 데디디가 천안 캔서 실리게서라 라 아주 배벨도 파르팔란 기제 징도 되시라 하운 지난 예미 카시 수술로 제 수술룸 데 파실로 밀란 데아마지 안 지부 데디디가 아니 지부 나서라 이제서라 데로 다디 칸들라나 지부 데디데 미심바치라 마데바라 그때는 갔던 거 담보 디카르삼 수술 데고 이상으로 나스간 된 거야 미에테 되게 빠바로 밀라치그래와 맞아도 좋은다 캐마스 데네직 강이 지금 데니스 책이 참라 데니실로 맞이 되어 있는 미드도 시그라 알고 신나서 오열니 파이어도 그러면도 쓰는 저시도 말아 디 마용이라 나서 마용이라니 밀라 참부체 도보토모 참마라 참부체 수수강이나 파시 파길라 레체이나 쓰네 안데 채와나 아니 그 디데기 나서 마용이라니 팽기를 튕더라 전술에 이를 내기미더라 지난게 도와 지난 가서 데니 시와이나 kāntsīyū māyīngi mī shimbārā yā tindī kirāza shūndu pādrōi nē labchā jāyā lā pēntō rā tindī māmbū yu sarāngā zamlī gāna rā.
So then when we talk about these two types of happiness, then in order to achieve happiness in our day-to-day life, then I find that it is very important to develop an attitude of contentment or develop a contentment with your situation or with your existence first. And if we do not really have contentment with our contentment, then it is very hard to achieve happiness in our day-to-day life. And then with this contentment in our day-to-day life, then we are kind of we have a sense of happiness with ourselves, and then in our dealings with other people and our immediate surrounding or so then so this is regarding ourselves, our relation with ourselves. If we are able to develop an attitude of contentment, then we have the seed of happiness planted in ourselves. And then in our relation with our immediate surroundings, our community, then it is important to strive to achieve a harmonious relation with other. And in this, you need to be you need to be really open to the immediate surroundings. And even though like all of this approach to our day-to-day life, happiness will be kind of addressed in the text itself, but to kind of sum it all up, when we look at someone who isn't in a harmonious relationship with their community or immediate surrounding, then we notice that whether that person stays inside his own home or goes outside to face society, in both instances, neither he or she is happy, nor the people who face him or her are happy. They have to be suspect all the time. They have to be suspect all the time and fear this person. And now, as we always, if you do not strive to achieve a harmonious relationship with your immediate surrounding and community and not be open, then this drives us into a situation of loneliness or seclusion from society or community as a general. And I notice and hear that this is a particular malaise of the of general society in this day and age. And I'm not saying that you people are lonely people or anything, but I hear that this is a particular malaise of the general society in this day and age. So this springs from an attitude, this kind of loneliness and seclusion springs from a place, from an attitude that you do not need the help of others, that you do not need to depend on others, that you are so self-sufficient that you can survive on your own. And this kind of closes your mind to achieve a harmonious relationship with your immediate surrounding and community. So this is not the attitude to adopt. Last.
Teacher, the Jungune de Shirasha Jachimbo, Chitang, Tangan Tami, Tangan to the Tama Dona Michu Chukushua. Today in the Tamigi, they got a Samus Tanga. They are laying on the Caribbean, not the Cheto Shushu Dramara, and the Chigia color, tap the watch, and if chance of her load of the Chikish and Madijay, the Deshi do some Jira. Anzo Lundo Jitama, Chicketo in the Changalan. Dodigal Lakotoma don't and she is Hendochoma, Tarmulera. Chetan Naraz Nalola, Susi Devala, mix some damage, Mitsamachiba Ra. Chetan Tangaro shit and Nichibu some Zurojra. Teacher Samegi, Devala, the Jukandes Ra. They were teaching Angela, they were do like Miri Koran Kari Shingi in the Ra. So the simple Namdai, Kari Tamuran and really soon the Ra. Many did Michigala in Mitsama Kodora, Mochiglan Samakora. Taking on to pay a jetura, teacher, and the Jela to die and Rangi can't shape at the Malab, and the patient on a high but Mandeshara. Take an unchance, they say, Koto, the Kojetu shadow or some draw. Daily when a Michi gets when you are there, Mimambuji something Hakonaya. Ancharan Sama Karine, ladies, which is right.
So, since we are a group of 18 or 19 individuals, then rather than approaching this, rather than as a teacher, rather than approaching this course from the point of view of strictly from the point of view of the root text and the sources itself, and then citing like some high view that is mentioned in the text, if you are not able to practically apply this in your life when you go away from here, then this course would not be so meaningful. So we need to think about relatable instances, and we need to be able to carry with ourselves some methods that are practical in our lives when we leave this course. So I want to kind of hear from each one of you, and I want you to be very forthright and open, and I want you to kind of share with the group what is your idea of happiness, and what do you think is the source of that happiness.
Well, I think, well, after some years of thinking about it, right, I think basically contentment is the root core, because if your mind is always racing for something that you don't have, then there's no way you can be happy. So then if your mind stops racing for something that you think you need, then your mind is content, and then you can feel happy in yourself. That's for me.
Ni koran lo mangbo ringa samna tang nesra tösam chinne ni dochung chokshele de ni dewa gi ju zodo ji sorgidus chizi chirangi semdera kadine chigo ni golen chigi kubla judena ni dewa le de nyeme juro chirishas.
Happiness is like when I'm helping others, or so when people make happy because of me, so that is the my inner soul is also.
그럼 미신들 대화도 펜바치 투나 아니 셈 나올네 디 대화도 지sorgdos.
Yeah, I think the happiest moments I've had in my life were spent together with my sons or with friends, and sometimes it's also you've just met people and you haven't known them for long, but you connect on a deep basis anyway, and that makes you happy. And I've also known moments of happiness when I was completely alone, and I think that had to do with this idea of contentment, because I was just content with that situation as it was at that moment.
그런 지불에기 뒤주지라 만체어로 수수기지 부가시 제서 수수기 부가시 디냠도 당제 뒤주디쳐서 디냠도 수수로바 모신바도 오든님도 뒤주지조디zul라 지부솔게도스 디마세 삼삼 미춘의 엄마신조도 오든데 야나 민모신조도 오든님도 니케자시에도 좀 대화 랑싱게 대화 사모도지 차인거도스 어떻게 좀 지부소게도스 아니 양 갑갑라 지부 인데 좀 뭐니 대화 소르뇽스 아니 디즈 좀 대화 소르라이데 다긴 촉셰라이디 에 자와도지 친 중교에서레스
Thank you.
I think it's work in progress as the first, and then a combination of contentment and direction, or contentment and growth, seemingly contradicting, but growth in the sense that becoming more and more growing in Dharma. This is very much related or tested with others. So it includes also seeing other people happy and similar, but it's not just moving on and on and on, but also contentment with the conditions that I had, a lot of gratitude about that, so that I can do that, and that I can practice.
Yes. 그런 게 대화를 해도 단다이 로심바도지 라체 칼레 work in progress 라기다 지탄동 로심바도지 디 체라 베즈로지라 조심바도지 이네 지당시나 그런 게 촉시라디다 촉시라디 자와도지 통라 대단냠도양 수수 야게 되어도지라 어디니 니 자와도지 통기도스 니 두스타드 좀바 촉시다 야게 되어라디 게와도지도스 니 딘데랑 마르도스 카제나나 코랑기 야르제 도레디 추지냠면라 야게 되어라디 딘데도지라 삼당게스 미신다냠도 니 야르제 가제 도도라디 미신다냠도 니 데와체 직체도 잠바니 모용구도스
I would say happiness practically is two things that I can define easily. One of them is the acceptance of what there is and what there isn't in my life. And the other is the ability, the practical ability to solve problems in my life, in my surroundings, life, people who I care about. Those are the two ways I can try to define what's happiness in my life until now.
그럼 이제는 대화를 디질라나라 카일라이지 디질라 니 여니도 통거도스 담보디 수수라 카리메 나라발라 디에 나라발라 디메라이들라니 칸라고 딩외 지엔도지라 디켈엔도지 알라 디에 알라 디메라니 켈엔도지니 니 디질레지 샤랭구도스라 니바디니 카일라이 이수수기라 강이도지 가리세 투구도 수수 강이 수수기 가오체사 수수기 타니오 미드줄라이라 강이 가리로지 세투구도 오텐데로지는 문제 치기에서 디질라 brother
Can you repeat the question, please?
what is happiness for you and what is that what is the source of that happiness?
I would agree with Asaf. The beginning, the source is acceptance. The first thing that comes to mind is the serenity prayer, which goes, grant me the power to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, allowing things to be as they are and accept them with gratitude. Thinking about that contentment is passive, in my opinion. It's a beautiful practice, that it's a passive practice, whereas gratitude is an active practice. And I believe that by practicing gratitude, we're able to achieve contentment, and by helping others also, as in use our being for good, and share that with others. That gives me happiness, a sense of fulfillment.
Kurangi lana di gangla possession da chigi shesa di da mutun ro chi yesra ne kurangi dijila na kelen che ro jura susu gi nedang zamling gi nedang khare ne kelen che to ro ji ne ni digila di shartu saresra teni kuranzo melam shende ro chi gyore ani God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change lana ngala ani ngagi ani juwa tang ma thuye ngagi chik che ma thuye gi ji ne dang de zo ngagi ani kelen che thuwa gi ani ngala khala semba nyombo do chi nano chi is kunjora and the courage to change the things that I cannot and the courage to grant me the serenity to accept the things I can change and the courage any courage to change the things I can the any kissing ji juwa tang pen to ye gi ji ne dang ro ji na sra de la ni pen ta to ye juwa tang to ye gi logo te ro chi das and the member any and the acceptance and the wisdom to accept the different the any dingi bara cheba jora di any kelen to ye la ra shirap ji nang da le ta kon so gi domba den de do ji o thi ne any khogi samudang indu zamba taging an so chokshi la na ra this kai lagyo shidamindus suzo inde chokshi de do ji sorgedus dile da ani kadin chimbu yin samege ji tanda shende den ji shengo da kadin chimbu yin la samshe jora di this nubache do kai la yela ani yaga do chutung dus
I relate very much to what God just said. I think happiness is feeling thankful, maybe for a moment, maybe for a person. And for me, it comes from feeling loved and cared for, and being able to love and care for people around me.
koi tagin gang phasaj di shejo di nyam do ni motin yesra ni jirdang korangi kelen la jora soso shin nedang kare ni kelen che to di ni bekeji motong dus digila ani themase mishinda chamba che mishinda tsewa che mishinda kala sojong che do yora o tende dan soso la mishinda gi sojong che chambo che tsewa che dende do ji lo sorgi dus digila
Everything has been resonating with what everyone said, but like happiness, this pursuit of wonder, I would say, like when I'm looking for new avenues to, looking for growth, feeling better, that brings me happiness, and not not being a cause for anybody's suffering, which is a work in progress, because you rush people the wrong way all the time. So yeah, in those those things.
Pursuit of wonder.
Wonder, yeah, there are things to still find out, to learn, and yeah.
I see. The Korangi Mishindagi Lajo Dinyamdo ani Kalir. Mishindagi Lajo and the Mambo Shera, Dinyamdo and Mudichi Dusra. Ani Dimasi Korangi ani Dijilana, the Yamsembo Saba. Yura ni shinyi dojo yamsembo sawa dendegi ji ni jela ni khalagda bezun che jura o tende doji le sorge dus kajana sawa shin sawa thonye o dende sawa jangye o tendegi ni diji gi sawa doji thongu dus yes from the
This is a question I think I've asked myself various times in my life, and every time the answer changes. Right now, I think if I can be feeling connected and present in the moment, for me that is happiness in this phase of my life. If I'm able to be kind with myself and with the people around me, I feel happy. In terms of the source, I think for me, this sense of connection I have with everything around me, for me feels like the source of happiness. But also I'm aware at phases of my life when I've chased happiness, that has been the cause of all my suffering. So yeah, that's the idea.
Kurangi dijilana ani kapdu thanda den dogdo den la thumen des khajanana kapda neba thuzula pawe judu dusra dijila gi kodo jora ne kurangi chirda ani dijiji tawala na ani suzu la chamnyinji gomthoya maze mishinda la chamnyinji gomthoya en tende doji langwen chi yesra ani maze mishinda nyamdo jethu la ora dewa sangbo sabo tende doji chungna ani delay diji tawala ngzi chi yesra ani kabab samsam negab la ani diji kubla diji tsegi diji goyela ni kubla shiu junera ala dunye mambora sons this
yeah, I strongly agree with many things that have been said before. For me, when I think about happiness, first, I would say it's very important to fully understand that it's not a what, but a how. Like what I do, it could be taking a shower that is giving me the happiness, or millions of other things we are putting there, and those may change over lifetime. Things that may make me happy today, maybe 5 years ago I did not like it all, or maybe in 10 years I don't like. So the what we are always seems to be always changing, but for me the concept is a little bit the how. And for me that is, deals with a lot of things that have been said. But I think most important is the absence of fighting. Like the willingness to accept what is instead of willingness to continue to change anything. If I come to this state of mind where I can forget about it, anything needs to be changed, but just be and experience, then the happiness flows into that moment automatically.
Tini Kurangi lana dijila jora kari re la di thiwa dile la ga dijila na khandes duk re la jora di keche tongu dus pena cha shena subuji tu na yora samsam diji chordo guras ani kare la di khadu ni judu guras ini khandes thab do jora di khadu ni chipares diji re la yora ani mase ani dijila di dewala di chunsa di yora sawa di nedang samna dangna yimne de roji me imbachera nega nedang khari na yora khelen dongle o dende chie ni dende chie gi ta khalir kulung roji na ani dijile di dupwe gi samdro khugudus
I think for me, pretty similar to what you said, sort of the kind of let go of the sort of mental fight to control like whatever's going on, whether it's something outside or sort of your state of mind at the time, sort of that sort of mental fight to control things and not resisting sort of reality as it is. I've found that when I'm able to do that occasionally, it's about this sense of peace. And then sort of, I guess, with that being able to accept sort of the joys and the nice things in life without that sort of ego and clinging, rooting it almost, and just enjoying the things in the present and letting them go when they go. And then on the flip side, sort of like the not so pleasant things, again, knowing that they'll go as well, not getting too caught up in trying to change them, and just let them go and go.
Tene moi mishinda ila jadi nyamdo tipo mongo ila jadi nyamdo muthi yusra dawda orishas ni dijile che de la chinang ni jala ni ti khalir samsam chi da nang chujo roji chai dusra samsam nangsem la ta chi nedang la jura dini bara la gewa do chana diji mewa chai ro sorgu dusra chi di chezang
samdang la ora
di chezang sra ani tangobe ni su la ora reality ngobe ni su khande ma chema chi shin di khare ina yi nedang khare ina yi ra di khelen to e di ni pe khechim bore thong thong dus ani chezang ani mase ni kala da thagzin ro la ora dagzin ro mewa che 아니 메진나라 가와 춘주 가리 요나요라 가와 춘주 아니 칼라기르다 롱주 가리 추나요라 데라 레토와로지 고도스라 디지레들라 어떻게 로실레
So it's really hard to explain. I think if you ask like 100 people, you're going to get 104 answers. And for me, the idea of acceptance is really interesting because I feel as though it's an aspiration, but not necessarily something that I have in my day-to-day life. So if I was to ask myself what happiness means from a day-to-day sort of perspective, I'd say probably two aspects to happiness, really. I think one is, it doesn't sound very Buddhist, but I suppose making progress in my life and developing as a person, getting towards some kind of a goal, which helps because of self-development and from various aspects of my life. And two, having loving and caring people around, people who will support you no matter what, and some kind of a community is very important.
Tadi thiwa pe khabo jires mijala ani diji khare la geja thina mija le jada shira gires thuya ani mase khoi chida diji la na ani namba ni done samna korgi dusra chi di ani nangchö gi tadub da tis thungi mejires ra ina suso yarje dwe suso migi do chi simjo de la tha nyer dwe jora de la be dila bezun chi o the ni kogi diji gi za chi thong dus niwa din korangi damle ju khuryu la ora khuryu chi so o thindela ni mi chamda zawa ju chamze dem mi o damle na ani ko di diji ro chi sorgu dus ani khuryu da chi so de pe ke cham bo sorgu dus.
Yeah, I think happiness have different definitions and different stages of life. So at this stage, I think by observing others around me, observing what is happening around me, and if I could gain some wisdom from it, I think that would be my happiness.
Mizigi rimba damindala ni dijila na kowa daminda jiyong yong dusra tan negab giringala morangi mizi rimba delasra mishinda nyamdo ni dewachi mishinda la tonan chi dizamba mishinda gi ni nedang khare mishinda gi kharda chuba khanditu tindero la tane ki susu la sherabji top tunasra ani dila ani dijila ni munzi chiges.
Yes.
My idea of happiness has evolved a lot over my life, and as an American, it used to be about a kind of like bliss and ecstasy and perfection, and I think my contact with Buddhism has allowed me to begin to practice a lot of what was shared about gratitude and contentment. And one way I've noticed this evolve in my life has been when people ask me how I am, I used to say good or bad, and then I started to say well, and now I just say something that I feel grateful for, like I'm admiring the mountains, or I'm enjoying a butterfly, and I don't give a response that's so charged. And I just want to thank you for asking, because it's really beautiful that this brings me happiness to hear and to share. And the name of the course, Open Heart, Open Mind, really inspired me, and it gave me the sense of like, what is the source of happiness? Is some meeting of these, that's heart and mind, and it made me think of the Tibetan concept of Sampajampo.
Nice. Temogi morang ariwajiras dijeza nyima ina ani dijila na kowa kande thorgela na takala gawa pagme dojira tinde doji ani samsam semba chibu shu chi sona ani dilar bet chadi da o tinde doji langun ji yes ta jene ni pyojiri shun nan chue tinde nyam do ani dewa chungne sra ani mo mission da ila jo do ni gadin tense do chi chasa teni chokshe che do tinde gi june ni diji gi zaw doji ngunzi chi du do sra 아니 데마세니 모이니마이나 치랑 데보임벨은 기저치나스라 데미딜란 렌자이스라 다 제네 데가 데기 데보도 야나 데보민둘란 렌자이라 데딘 렌자기인 대상다 렌데 자기메스 대상이 가 내당 가르치라요라 네 까밥기른가 내당 가르치라니 가든 침보 소르기 가와 곰투기 디시게 스페나차차나니 주 데보임벨은 기저치나 다링가 강리 통화되게네 베 심발 가와 중 딘데도 이제 딘데스 탑 딘데도 지피스타게스
I'm also grateful for this question because I don't think I've ever really asked myself this question in this sort of a contemplative setting, and I have lived my life with this sort of quotation from Joseph Campbell, this mythologist, follow your bliss. And I think for most of my life, in some way or the other, I have followed my bliss. And now I feel that with more contact with my own self and people, I feel that needs has become a very important thing for me. And so to understand needs of myself and to respond to those needs, and to understand the needs of others and to respond to them skillfully has become my source of happiness.
그럼 지어디 소소로 팀바 당보 구여도 샤기도스 딘데 삼로 당네 구여 지어 구여 주라 딘데 대고 차이도스 이 대원님은 그런 게 디지라나니 인지 제바도 개바도 지에서 거기다 다긴 가와방메라야도 되는 용구다 수수기 가와방메데 니 인지 지수당 거래라야도 된데기지 로도지 주네 삼로 당게 있으라 다 대상이 삼로 당도 좀 봐니 수수수수로 그거 그코 가르두스라 미신로 그코 가르두스라 내당들로 그코 가르르두르네 디 그코 딜라니 카강투나 된데도지라니 디지르네 뭔지 치스
고콜레 카강투나 쇼시로
말이면 그코다 지고데나 소소로 지고데 미신달로 지고데라 디 고바 고코지오라 디니 죽투나
네.
So for me, happiness at the moment, it feels like equanimous mind, that I can be at ease with others and also, and myself, and not being dragged by afflictive emotions all the time. I think at the moment this is my happiness.
아니 그런기 디질라나 뉴몽기니 디 티보라 메와지네라 아니 뭐 뉴몽기 왕도 메와지네라 소소 셈볼 흘려치 소소번 셈볼 흘려 미냠도 번에 셈볼 흘려잖아 딜라 디질라는 것은 시스
Shortly because I had the difficulty with English language.
인지 자베 카보도스 아니 인지 자베 카보도스 아니라 그런
You can say in Italian, I'll try to translate if you want.
My sentence. So, in short, I think that happiness is when our mind is deeply able to think, to take care, not only for itself, but also for others. I think and I believe this is the main training for to generate the true happiness. So to turn the mind of ourselves to our
yes. Tini kurangi samsila china dijila di logiora semdi susuranchido su samlatang ma thewa chira lodi shencholo pha tatuna shenla samlatang shenla ni khali sojong che shenla ni chamba bome ra dendedo ji ni cheduna ni diji gi nibale de ngun tu gre samgadus
다다 단단히 이 캔들 좋아 가르치는 팀이는라 좋아 재미 싫어 나는 남편도 남자 참고 제이다라 즉 아래 커선도 들이가서 직지 하고 해 남편도 하마고는 그 가르상무에는 파이 가르팅이나 딕디라 세상에서 답부 참고 제도 뺏기 전부다 직지 삼주 해야 돼 진짜 우리는 소속에 먼저 더 삼래시 니요 단다고 민거를 더 삼이라 더 레디가 나도 대시 시대 저런 더고래 삼래데 소속에 삼으시단 거라 대화하다 가르도 소속 사람한테 민이 집을 두고 없나 세상 다른 얘기 전화들 좋아지 집에 가서 미래에게 아니 네가 삼으시단 거라 알레 땅원에 들이 남도 지지는 남도 땅에 얘기를 지지는 남도 땅에 메지라 되게 삼모디 저런 소속 삼으시 땅이래 다 미션바기 삼모다지 알레 디레샤 디디미들 가서기 그거 여보지라고라 알레 코딘데 지삼자티 디샤 알레 녜디 산투무데 nga nosha de tendo tigala samsu samusho moedi ani pete ko je tuje chirdo ra kasan mi yidi yo am nga tuje chir tanga le roja ani jiko ta je tuje chir tang lande dinde ro chawara michi gi zal chipo nyewa ina nga jogi shushu ja chambu ra imara dinde insa an kha jogi chikare samwa ina ra chikase tinse gi be tamara sumo de la monitane pe tuchi isra dinde insa an kha jo pa zo na lo la 디디샤 디딤도 상에게 산수치라이래 소소기가 대지라이 카르르스 티가 삼스타라 대응을 내지 소소라양 팬도시 준라 이 마오바이나 단도디가 산 카르 땅도라
So then I would like to first thank you all for sharing this with the group very openly. And the reason that I wanted to, I posed this question to you as a group and I wanted to hear from you is, it is very important for this group to be open with each other in hearing other people's perspective too. And when we look at the name of the institute that we are in right now, as we discussed, it is Tösamling, wherein the first syllable Tö means to hear, and then to Sam means to contemplate. And then as we are able to be open to other people's perspective, and as we are able to hear them out, then it gives us the opportunity to contemplate more on what is our own ideas and what are the other people's ideas and perspectives as well. And this accords us with a very good opportunity to kind of think about, like, when we hear other people's perspective, then you are able to address things that you did not take into account, or things that you agree with, or things that you do not particularly agree with. So this gives you the opportunity to contemplate more on your own later on. And this is the reason why I wanted to hear from you as a group your ideas about this question. So as you listen to each other's sharings, then did you get the feeling that I failed to take this into account, this is what he or she shared is practical and applies, or what he or share is not so practical, or so did you get this kind of feeling as we listen to each other's sharings?